The bliss of the abyss, it's here now.
Welcome back to the Bliss of the Abyss. I'm your host, Robin Neumark Jones, for this and all subsequent and future and past episodes. Although sometimes Ruskin Denmark does turn up. Speaking of turning up, this week's show is with Sarah Crowden, although we are interrupted early by an unexpected, uninvited guest. But never let that get in the way of a bit of fun, so that's what we do. This is an attempt to bring some bliss into the abyss. It's a lot of nattering, it's a lot of bantering, it's a lot of silliness, it's a lot of hoo-ha. There's some celebrity stories in there, there's some conspiratorial talk. We do talk about Polari, celeb gossip, censorship, handling Salmon suspiciously, and all kinds of other things. Those fans of the podcast will know Sarah from her previous episode before and her illustrious career through theatre, TV and film. And if you want to catch her, she is currently on the Sister Boniface Mysteries, which is on BritBox. It's on the Drama Channel. It's a right rollicking fun. It airs every Friday night at 9 p.m. So that's tonight for your appointment viewing, or if you prefer things on demand, then whenever and however you want them, they are yours for a fee. Or a free trial, indeed. I'm not going to tell you too much more up top, apart from the fact that I'm now taking steroids and I've gone fully grey and I've got big bums. Sorry, I'm in a silly mood today. This is me talking to Sarah Crowden. Sarah Crowden, welcome to the Bliss of the Abyss, or should I say welcome back to the Bliss of the Abyss.
Oh, thank you very much. It's great to be back.
It is lovely to have you. How are you?
Oh, staggering on, you know.
Half inch by half inch. I do understand the feeling.
Yes, it depends whether one's wearing crampons, of course.
Very rude. Now, of course, we're going to have a very polite, civilized conversation, talking about all kinds of. You're not in favour of that? I mean, that sounded okay. We'll have a raucous, rude, disgraceful conversation, or maybe somewhere in between. You post a lot of. Depends. So yeah, go on.
I suppose it depends on what your listeners want. I think probably unadulterated filth.
Hey, my listeners are educated, erudite individuals who want nothing more than a bit of filth.
Oh, I was just going to say goodbye, but I don't have to now.
Toodly pips. Yeah, sorry we couldn't record this last time. There was a birth happening next door. Yeah, there was an intense amount of labour for.
Hello.
Hello.
May I come in? Oh gosh, I'll leave.
Sarah.
Yes.
What's
afraid.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that is my nemesis, Dame Teresa Thompson's gazelle. Oh, let me in. Hello. Oh, is that charming young man who I've had as an MC before?
Yes. Well, yes, that is me.
Robert,
yeah. Now,
Robert?
Yes, that's me. But I have an appointment with Sarah. We're recording a podcast. What are you doing?
No. She's gone to do. She tells me she's an actress, and she has to go and do these things called self tapes. I've never seen her in anything. I don't know if you have.
Oh, yes, I have, but I wouldn't like to see a self tape.
So many people call themselves actresses and writers these days, and even, I believe, stand-up comedians.
Is that so? Yeah, they still exist, despite...
So this woman, Sarah Crowden, I've never heard of her. She says she had to just dash off to do a self-tape. I think it was more like a visit to the lavatory myself. There we are.
Right, I see. Well, I guess we carry on in her stead. I'll text Sarah, because I'm very angry at Sarah for just buggering off, but there we go.
I apologise on her behalf.
Well, I thought you were her nemesis.
Whatsoever. Yes, but actors have no manners whatsoever, so I do apologise most roundly on her behalf. But I just wanted to come in because it was such a lovely time talking to you last time, and I thought so much. You said so much has happened. I've just come in from Tesco's, dear, and it was very strange. There was a dreadful smell of semen outside the doors of Tesco's. Have you ever come across that? It might have been Fox, of course, but you never know.
I don't usually get those smells mixed up, but...
Oh, well, I do frequently. It's a great trial. Anyway, it's spring now, and of course the cats are molting everywhere. And one of them went all over a black skirt of mine. Now, Crumpet, my lovely lodger, told me when he saw me coming down the stairs that I looked exactly like a walking minge. Now, that's a phrase that's new to me. Walking minge. Walking minge. I'm going to share it with the greengrocer. See if he can shed any light on walking minge. Very novel.
Very novel.
You know, it's terribly, terribly noisy around here in my little cottage in Hampshire. The builders are next door.
Oh, no.
And on the other side, there was a woman giving birth in the garden. I tell you what, if she keeps on screaming, I'm going to borrow a sharp tool from the builders and stick it in her paddling pool. It's an absolute disgrace. I don't know why she doesn't just go off to hospital. It would be so much better for us all, and we wouldn't have to wear our earplugs.
Right,
I
yeah.
I did think about offering
Very
a hand
selfish.
with the warm spoons, but no, Crumpet told me not to. He's watching through the binoculars, and he says the head is crowning, whatever that means.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, Crumpet also told me I should get round the trade next door by telling the larger one, who is very large indeed, that he has nice guns. I have to say, Robert dear, I didn't see an offensive weapon last time he was at eye level, but perhaps he secretes it down his trousers.
No, that's not what he means. Guns is another word for biceps.
I don't know what biceps are, dear. I'll have to look it up in the dictionary when we get off.
Ask the greengrocer.
Do you know? Oh, I'll ask the greengrocer. That's another thing. Nice guns and walking minge. How very useful, how helpful you are, dear. Thank you so much. Do you know, I first came across these builders when they wolf whistled me from the scaffolding from the back. Then I turned round and there was a very, very long pause. But, you know, I thought they must have been blind, but blind scaffolders are not a very good mix, I would have thought.
Nope, although cheaper.
Cheaper, yes, indeed, much, much cheaper. And they're building executive homes in the garden, chock-a-block with doggy skeletons from the last owners.
Oh, no.
I do hope the executives who buy have a strong stomach. Some of the corpses were only interred relatively recently.
Did you not notice this constant parade of dogs coming and then disappearing?
Oh, no, they were old. This fellow rescued dogs, you know. It was another cacophony.
Rescued.
So I've had cacophony of dogs, and now I've got a cacophony of builders and a cacophony of screaming, birthing women. It's really very, very trying, and it's hard enough to get trade these days anyway. I the builders must have an absolute front row view.
Yeah, absolutely. How does Crumpet deal with all of this?
Oh, Crumpet has earphones, and he wraps a pillow around his head when things aren't when things get too much for him. Yes, he's my second cousin, once removed. Yes. Oh, talking of relatives, you know, I still have my ghastly school friend Anne Ally. She's still here, even though COVID doesn't exist any longer. I can't get her to go home. Insists she wears her mask when we have social intercourse. She always was a hotbed of germs, even at school.
Right, okay, probably for the best.
I mean, we do play card games to pass the time in the evenings. There's nothing on the television. That dreadful Britain's Got No Talent is back, I see, but of course I wouldn't touch that for the barge pole. But, you know, she's quite good at sevens, or gin rummy, as we used to call it. She's got a very irritating habit of always playing the joker. You know, the one that doesn't matter. And I've told her many, many times that he's actually the tosser. She doesn't listen. I said, he's the tosser, don't use him, and she uses him every time. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Goodness
me.
But
anyway.
While wearing a mask.
Yes, still wearing a mask. I'm still wearing a mask. Oh, it takes me back to the Blitz. Oh, what fun it was. The dark and the mask. Don't let's go there. Anyway, dear, I think that actress woman might have finished her sentence.
Oh, really?
So I'm just gonna. Hello. Oh, God, she's coming up the stairs. I'd better go now, Toodlepip.
Oh, right.
My peas too needs to be planted right now, and possibly a row of carrots, and also, of course, my delicious, especially vegetables. I got very low on the cucumbers and the courgettes.
How come?
towards the end of
Why
last
were
year.
they running out?
Oh, because they had to travel from Kenya.
I see.
Both of them.
I see. Sorry, my mind was in the gutter. I thought it was something else. Well, love to crumpet.
Oh, I send your love to Crumpet. He's looking forward to making your acquaintance. I told him you're very handsome, and you've got an enormously nice personality.
Well, we
So,
do send each other little private messages back and forth, so he'll know what I mean.
Oh, excellent! This is excellent stuff. Well, I'd better be off. I might just go back to Tesco's and have a little sniff, but just to keep the memory, the memory and the what do you call it, the taste buds going. You never know. So many happy memories. It's like those cream eggs.
Yes.
Oh, I love licking them out. Oh, it's such
God.
fun. Yes.
They're
Anyway,
a bit sweet for me.
Oh, are they? No, I could eat 3 at a sitting. More memories. Maybe I should lick out a cream egg while I'm sniffing for semen outside Tesco's. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds delightful.
All right, dear. Well, I'll hand you back over to Sarah.
Okay.
Get off, Sarah Crowden.
Ooh,
Bugger off.
Be nice, ladies.
Right. Sorry about that.
Oh, Sarah.
I'm back. I shoved her out the door.
Well,
and
yeah.
I'm tempted to push her down the stairs, actually.
I mean,
but,
I would. She said the worst things about you.
Oh, well, I'm sure she doesn't mean them.
It sounded like she meant them.
Oh, did it?
Yes, it really did.
Indeed.
And I've got a bone to pick with you now. What are you doing disappearing, huh? In the middle of a... Apparently, she said you had a self-tape. Is that true?
Yes, I was doing a self-tape. It's for some series when I'm playing an 84-year-old man.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Yes.
Gender-blind
So,
casting, very on
Yeah,
trend.
gender-blind casting. Yes, I just thought, and it took me a while to drag up. So,
Right, okay.
but I think it's quite a wide remit. The breakdown actually said man, woman, anybody between 16 and 85.
Right.
So they're going to have a
Pulse or
very
no
wide
pulse?
choice. Yes, pulse or no pulse, indeed. But they'll have a lot of people.
I don't know.
going
How
in.
do you feel about this on an actual casting note? So there's two types
Seriously.
of experience. Well, seriously, very seriously. But
No, I
there's
love self-tapes.
there's two types of experience when you actually go in for a casting as opposed to self-tape. And the one is you go in and you open the door and there's a room full of people who look pretty much like you.
Yes.
And you're like, okay. And then there's the one where you open the door and there's generally people of your gender or kind of age, but a big, vast array. And they clearly haven't quite nailed in what they're exactly looking for. What fills you with more dread? What makes you more hopeful?
What makes you more... Well, I did one for America about 25 years ago, and I turned up inadvertently looking exactly like a storyboard, which was bizarre. They showed me the storyboard and they went, "But this is you."
This
and I
is
went,
you.
"Oh, well." It was just bizarre. In fact, that's happened a couple of times with the commercials. What fills me with dread? Oh, there used to be about 3 actresses, and I knew that if they were in the room, they would almost certainly get it. And also in the very, very early days, one was just called in as padding, to make up the numbers, and there wasn't much of a chance. There were quite a lot of waste of time ones in the old days, and then you get your first one, and then people start to go, "Oh, well, she's done a commercial, she must know what she's doing," and they started coming in. Yes.
Yeah. No, those are
But
good.
in the old days, it was 2 or 3 castings a week. So I'd go in, one looking at the storyboard, and then I'd come out and I'd look like somebody else. Try it slightly different. I like the remits. There was one time I went in and they'd been mixed us all up. So I went in to be confronted by 7 vicars.
Oh my God.
That was horrific.
Slash a dream come true.
Oh God, absolutely, absolutely. Well, yes. So if anybody wants to see me in a current commercial, I'm in TK Maxx Bridge Club, which is very surreal and rather marvelous. And I believe from my neighbour that it's still on. And it's all about nail varnish.
So, oh, is it really? TK Maxx
Yes.
going big into the nail varnish.
Yes, they do. They do makeup and the hair products and all sorts now, which I didn't realise. But it was hilarious.
I like the way you're
Absolutely
plugging yourself in a TK Maxx commercial when, like, you've been in a Hollywood movie within the last year, or a TV series. But no, it's TK Maxx. That's the important
TK
one.
Maxx. Well, apart from the TV series then, which is called The Sister Boniface Mysteries, and it's on a Friday night at 9 p.m. on the Drama Channel, which I think is Channel 20. And I'm in episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10 from this Friday for the next 4 weeks.
Okay, I'll get it out ASAP. It says 6
small, but
episodes.
telling. There's 10 episodes in total. I've been in 6 out of the 10. I will have been in 6 out of the 10.
As Miss Thimble, can you give us a
Thimble.
tease? Who is Miss Thimble?
Miss Thimble is one of the villagers it's a village called Great Slaughter, and it's a comedy drama where lots of people get killed, and it's a spin-off from Father Brown, but with more comedy. It's about a forensic nun who solves crime with the local police force in the 1960s.
Huh, that sounds brilliant.
Beautiful. It's fab. High production values, great cast, and it was great to be a regular for it. And 3.5 months in the Cotswolds.
Lovely.
What's not to like? Oh, it was brilliant. It was great fun. But it's very outrageous. Miss Thimble is very vague and a spinster of this parish, and she's very much supported by Mrs. Clam, the local landlady who puts up the policeman.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously we won't go into any spoilers as to what happens, what her fate is, but from this Friday, did you say? And
yes, this Friday, 9
that's
o'clock,
on the Drama Channel, and it's also on BritBox. So if you've got
it's on
BritBox,
and Now TV, I think one of the casts.
So yes, if you've got an on-demand service, look it up.
Yes,
have yourself.
Look
some
it
fun.
up. Look it up, ladies and gentlemen, erudite people.
Well remembered.
So yes, so that's that. Now, what else? What else can I tell you, Robert Neumark Jones?
I don't know. We can talk about anything, can't we? You could talk about the Hollywood movie that I mentioned, Cruella de Vil. Cruella.
Oh,
I
Cruella de Vil.
This.
No, don't blink. I mean, it's what I call a don't blink. So if you looked away for your popcorn, you would miss it. But it was great fun, and it was a fabulous look. A very nice director, and a huge Hollywood, blockbuster. I actually went. I don't always go and see them, but I went to see this one because it sounded like fun. It was great. It looks amazing. The costume designer is just sublime, and she was great. Is it Emma Stone
Emma
who was
Stone, exactly, yeah. This is one I didn't catch. I've seen a few of the live-action Disney ones, and the production values are through the roof.
They
Goodness
certainly are.
me.
I think we were based in Shepperton, but I mean, secret, all that, it wasn't called Cruella, and she wasn't called Emma Stone on the call sheet as they do now. I mean, in the old days, it was extraordinary. You had your name on the Winnebago, your actual name, and your name and phone number on the call sheet.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. So they've been taken. I guess that's GDPR now, is it?
Yes.
I
yes,
haven't
and
noticed
that's probably about 20. I could be wrong. Someone will correct me. I'm sure. I think that's from about 20 years ago that they stopped doing all that because people found out where people were filming and went and knocked on their doors. The fans.
Right, that isn't a great idea, is it?
No, it's not a great idea at all.
Yeah, fan culture is actually. This is an interesting thing we could talk about because it's changed quite a lot, and I know this. Anecdotally through my mother, because we're going through her like the family archive of photos, right? It's boxes and boxes worth, and it's this big project, and sorting through, chucking away the blurry ones of a deer in the distance or something. Like why did we ever take this? But in amongst this, I found some folded up pieces of typed or handwritten letters addressed to my mother. I was like, Mum, what are these? And she was like, oh, that's from when I was on University Challenge.
Nope.
And so back in the day, she was on for LMH, and they had a brief run, and there's, 6 or so fan letters addressed to her, and it's all, Dear Miss Neumark, I was absolutely delighted to see your scrumptious face appear on TV last night, and what a joy it was to this old heart of mine. Being but an old pensioner and not long left, I was wondering if you might not do me the smallest favour and send me some photos.
Yes, ...
And it was, the bigger the sob story, the more they were asking. It was quite good to see.
Even yes, oh gosh, yes, they've kind of, I don't know, saying they've dried up, but they used to be, and there was one scam that went on with this woman or a group of women in Coventry, and I'd get a letter from this woman, I don't know, Mary Smith, and she'd say, Dear Sarah Crowden, I love your work. My sisters and I are all sitting down, and my neighbours and my cousins are all sitting down to watch you in whatever it was, and we'd all love a signed photograph. So might we have 5? So I duly.
We're such fans that the whole family would like one this year.
Yes, and then a couple of years, for some reason, I was looking up something else, and it said, and it popped up on Google, Sarah Crowden photograph on eBay.
Yep. I found one as we speak. There's only one available left. They've been selling like hotcakes.
Oh my God! How much is it?
The most recent one sold in June of 2 years ago for £8 plus £1.15 delivery.
Goodness. Well, that's my price on like the stock market is staying relatively steady, because that's what it was 5 years ago.
Well, yes, the economy's gone up and down since, so I don't know. In real time wages, has that gone up or down? It's hard to know. Put that in 1950s money and you're laughing.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, 5 years ago, it's still £8, and it was £8 5 years ago. But they haven't been in touch, because I kind of got onto them. I just thought, no, I'm not going to do this. It's a bit crazy. While they obviously need to make money, they're not going to make huge amounts of money with me.
Well, if I put up a crayon drawing of myself on eBay, I don't think I'd make £8. So look at it that way. There's levels.
And then when they put rare, and you think, well, no, not really. But anyway,
can I have one of those? I mean, I've got my own eBay channel to run. I've got bills to pay. Come on.
Absolutely.
Bung me over a head shop.
I'd like it. I'd like the odd £8,
Exactly. You should be running this scam.
Yes, to go with the £9, that one gets from repeats and residuals.
Residuals. What? What's your favourite one?
I don't know. Oh, gosh.
Or have you had one recently?
£2 was one for 21p. There was a girlfriend put something up on Facebook, and she said, "Oh gosh, has anybody? I just had this residual. I think it was £1.25." And I said, "Oh," and I replied to her, and I said, "Oh, a bit more than that." She went, "Oh, stop showing off." I said, "Yes, but not enough for Botox." Wasn't enough for Botox.
That's funny.
I don't know.
That's funny. What's it for? Is it Downton Abbey, or is it like? What's the?
I think it was. Oh, it was a long time ago.
It was
probably Poirot or Lovejoy.
Right.
In the very early 90s.
Oh wow, Poirot and Lovejoy. It's great that they're still being shown somewhere. I mean,
Yes.
Because considering the amount of content that is being shot and churned out, just endless. Reams and reams of, if you've got any of the streaming programs, you load up and it's just some other new thing that just looks very expensive and very boring. But still, there's still room out there for sort of 1990s drama procedurals to be aired. It's brilliant. It's fantastic.
Yes. It is, and I mean, the Talking Pictures is just wonderful. The Drama Channel, they repeat stuff all the time, and people tell me, they say, "Oh, we saw you on Doc Martin or something." And Doc Martin, I did one episode, I had one scene or two scenes or something. It was more than a don't blink, and that is on. They repeat those all the time, and they'll be repeating them again because they're currently filming the final series.
Yeah, that's right. That's fairly recent, isn't it? That was only started sort of 5 or so years ago.
I have another puff, Robert.
You have another puff?
I have another puff, which is anybody who's connected with the industry, please buy Brian Cox's hardback book of his autobiography. It is an actor's heaven.
Really?
It's wonderful. Yes, because he comes across as not more like Logan Roy, but he at the book is the way he starts his career. There's such humility in his writing, and he had to overcome such a lot.
He came from real working class Labour stock, didn't he? Am I right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Bonnie Dundee, absolutely, and he started in stage management, and worked his way up, and in Dundee at Dundee Rep, and then he came to London, and he never really went. I think he went back a few times. I think he's been to Edinburgh to do something, but he's mostly been in England and of course America.
Well, yeah.
It's an actor's book. It really, really is. It's fantastic. I do recommend it. I screamed. It's not something you could read on a tube if you're an actor, because you'll be arrested. You'll be screaming some of the stories. But you have to get the hardback, because apparently he's edited some of the snarkier stuff.
Oh no, really?
In the paperback edition, yes.
Okay, yeah, I heard there was some snarky stuff in there.
It's really quite snarky. So the hardback is the one.
Okay.
But there's been a sort of slew of the Miriam Margolyes is also extremely wonderful.
Oh, really?
And Brian Cox, I mean, she's got the humility as well, which is fantastic.
Does Brian Cox's humility sort of start to sink away as he becomes more and more?
No,
good.
He's always pleasantly surprised when he gets a job. Still, even this, I mean, I don't know how old he is now. 80? I don't know, maybe not that old. But yeah,
he's 46.
Oh, so he's not 80 yet.
You know what I'm going to do?
Yes.
I'll put it in a calculator and I'll edit it all
76.
together.
He's 76.
No, how dare you? Yes, you're right.
He might be 77. No, I count on my fingers like my mother. My mother's famous, and my mother's, it stood me in good stead, she said. And then she said to me, when I was doing my Open University, well, I don't understand how you ever get any marks for your essays, because nobody can read your handwriting.
You're like, I'm too busy counting on my fingers.
I'm too busy counting on my fingers, yes. Well, clearly they can read my handwriting, because I got a distinction for this particular module. Oh, I love doing another puff for the OU. Yes, it's brilliant.
Is this in circus skills, or is this for something else?
No, I had to give up the tightrope walking course because I had an old injury come back. My kneecap started displacing, and I thought it was a little dangerous doing tightrope with 1.5 legs.
I can sympathise. Yeah, I had the whole meniscus thing last year. I wouldn't dream of doing it. But
and also all the other people were about 30 years younger. So,
well, and also, the last time we spoke, you told me you were really excited about doing this, but they were trying to push you to go up on the really high one, and it had been like your third lesson. I was like, Sarah, please, for goodness sake, don't do it. You were like, there are crash mats. First
lesson. There are crash mats. There were crash mats, but no, and then the teacher retired, and and then Stefano came back, who I'd done a taster course with, and he was wonderful, but by that point my knee was so bad that I was having physiotherapy, and they said, we can get you back up to get to tightrope ready. And I was like, no, I think I better not go back, because if I can't work because of something I've done to myself.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the trade-off it starts to be.
Beyond stupid. And they do say, if you're under contract for something, they always, I wasn't, but they always say no undertaking dangerous sports.
Yeah, of course. But then again, I ripped my meniscus just standing up from the dinner table. Is that a dangerous sport, or? Well,
no, that's bloody bad luck. Oh, gosh. Ouch. And very, very, very painful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Is that what you had as well? Was it a meniscus?
No, it's a displaced patella.
Oh, yeah. The tendon.
Yeah, it made me feel sick. It made me feel sick every time the kneecap displaced. I could feel it going click.
Oh, no. Does it ever lock? Mine locks sometimes.
No, I try. No, the ankles lock, but then any doctors listening, any advice, any GPs or any orthopedic consultants could give me. No, it's ongoing, the injury, but it's a bore because it first happened in 1989, so it was a bit of a drag to have it come back in 2022.
No, but you've had a relatively clean slate between the two.
Oh yeah,
can't
absolutely.
Complain too much, I suppose.
No, but I don't want to sort of, pay out thousands of pounds for physiotherapy if I don't need to.
No, absolutely. Well, I'm trying to work out if I should get this surgery or not. I don't know. I think I spoke to you about this. How do you make this decision? It's the most impossible thing, it's like, why didn't they just fix it all at once? Did I tell?
Yes.
I told you this, right? Didn't I?
No.
I had the meniscus surgery. That was the the beginning of the pandemic, basically. So the first 3 months of the pandemic, I'm on the couch, which, there we go. But it was very painful, and my knee, I had to sort of have it wrapped in paper, and I couldn't walk for about 6 months, and then there was a lot of physiotherapy, a lot of recovery, and then finally it's pretty much back to normal, and they're still saying don't do any twisting movements, and I'm like, okay, but I'm able to exercise, I'm able to walk around, I'm able to, etc. So I go back for my, what I thought would be final session with the specialist, and he goes, so the meniscus is all good. I'm like, yeah, it seems to be all good. And he's like, so you can use your knee normally? I was like, yeah, we can normally knee. He's like, great. Mm-hmm. So now, what do you think about the ACL surgery? And I was like, yes, excuse me? And he was like, yeah, your ACL has fused to the PCL, so we may need to operate on that. And I said, right, so what would that mean? And he said, well, about another year of recovery.
Could you work if you were in recovery?
It's a similar idea to the last time. It's like there'll be a few months of not being able to do anything, then there'll be a few months of sort of in between, and then the last few months of sort of getting back to normal. But it means taking another year out, and this time there's not a pandemic to lie on the couch for, or at least not as much of a pandemic. It is still going on, isn't it, Sarah?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Dame Teresa doesn't
checking.
believe it, but
no, well,
yes.
Of course.
Although I went up to central London yesterday, and there was pretty much nobody wearing a mask on the tube, which is a new thing, because 2 weeks earlier, when did I last go up? 6 weeks earlier, practically everybody on the tube had masks.
Yes, it's really changed quite quickly, hasn't it? I think that's
yes.
All. There was always the side of society that were just like, I'm not partaking in this in any way, but for the majority, I think people did really pitch in, and
yes.
It seems almost as a country in the last sort of maybe few weeks, we've just been like, you know what, forget it. We've done what we can. Not that I'm going out sneezing on people, but everyone's getting it, and I don't know. It's changed, hasn't it?
It's kind of morphed, and the variants are getting weaker and weaker, I believe.
Pathetic.
So
is there a new variant? Are we still on Omicron, or is there?
No, there's a new one.
What?
But they haven't named it.
What do you mean they haven't named it? I thought they were just using the Greek alphabet.
No, they haven't named this one because they're trying to keep it quiet.
But,
so that's another thing. I have a friend who does hospital role play, and she told me that they were about a month ago. They were absolutely agog about it, and the young trainee doctors. Oh yes, there's another one, and she was like, well, what's it called? They haven't named it because they're keeping it under wraps.
Oh dear.
Nothing surprises me anymore.
Now, for those who don't know, because I've actually done a little bit of hospital role play, can you explain to the listener what that is?
What it is that they go along. I've never done it, so I hope I'm right. They want actors because actors can be convincing with anything. So that I've got a girlfriend who does mostly elderly ladies with dementia, and she comes in and she says, and they interview her. The doctors, they're taking notes about her condition. So she as an actor, she has to sort of read up and be able to improvise symptoms, and she looks up the symptoms, and she knows what the prognosis is probably going to be, and she just gives them what she's currently suffering.
Right. Yeah. That is what it is. Yeah.
And then they're marked, I believe, for what their prognosis is, and what they would do ongoing with this particular patient. It's trainee doctors. And what's really interesting is when I did it, they were fairly early on into their training, because being a doctor, it's a long path. And there was only one student who had both. So some would be really good at bedside manner and had no idea what to do with I think it was a leg problem I had. Yeah, I was on crutches. And then the other person would be like, oh, I know exactly what the problem is, and they'd be really rude and make me feel sad, even though I didn't really have a problem. Yes. But then there was just sort of one student who really got it.
I think it would be really. It was a weird job. I was like, yes, I am acting, and I suppose it's a good thing I went to drama school.
Yes.
But it would be really funny if you're doing that job, and they're like, and what are your symptoms? And you start reeling off a list, and the doctor gives you a look like, are you sure those are your symptoms? Do you want to check your notes again? Get the wrong disease.
Make it up. Yes, completely make it a bubonic plague or something. Well, I was bitten by a rat down in Walthamstow about 6 months ago, and I've been having these strange symptoms, doctor. No, you could really wind them up. Stop it. No.
There's an old English law on the. When you look up these laws that are still on the books but are no longer enforced, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a law on the books in England that makes it a crime to get onto public transport or a hackney carriage if you've got the plague. Or you can tell the driver that you've got the plague, and she can take their chances if they want.
Well, I would have thought.
Sorry,
hello.
There was just a little beep. Excuse me. Excuse me.
I would have thought. Oh, hello.
What do you think?
Well, I would have thought that's very dangerous, because they'll get people throwing things at them and saying, get off this bus or hackney carriage. Get out of the hackney.
Out of the hackney.
Yeah, get out of the hackney.
So that means, all the people going around with COVID, knowingly with COVID, and getting onto a bus, they're not only breaking the new laws, they're breaking the Black Death laws. Those are, significant. That's...
Yes, that is deliberate provocation.
Deliberate
in my book.
In my book too. Absolutely.
Yes.
Can I read you some of my favourite laws that I found out?
Yes.
This is, maybe you know this one. It's illegal to be drunk in a pub.
No, I didn't know that one.
Yep, Section 12 of the Licensing Act, 1872. Yep, liable to a penalty.
Oh, but there's that other one that's been doing the rounds on Facebook, which is people being put in lunatic asylums in the 19th century for various things. And one of them it was about women with hysteria and all that. And one of the items was you could section someone. I don't know what they called it in those days, but you could section someone for reading novels. So did
it matter what type of novels?
No, it didn't. I'm assuming not a 3-volume, because they wouldn't be able to get through a 3-volume without being shoved into an asylum. Because there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of what were called lunatic asylums. In the south west, all around ringing London.
Yeah, I've been to Maudsley. I've actually volunteered at the local wing of Maudsley. It's not what it was back then, but quite the thing. You know what's funny about the novel law, shall we call it, reading fiction, is that if you were trying to hide it, you could almost do a reverse of the thing that school kids do, where they've got their textbook, but the comic is hidden within.
Yes.
This would be the reverse. You'd have the textbook on the outside, just reading up on physics, but then meanwhile inside, Lady Chatterley's lover.
Yes, a slim novella, perhaps. Who's written, look up novellas people have written in the 19th century. Stick that in. Yes. Oh, no. Terrifying when you think. And now, and people complain about the laws now. Good heaven. I mean, there was you couldn't do anything in the 19th century.
No, absolutely.
By the sound of it. You couldn't look at people in the wrong way.
Right. Well, exactly. You couldn't, for example, handle salmon suspiciously.
No.
That's illegal. That's actually a modern law. When I read that, I was like, oh, what is that, the 14th century? That was in 1986. And yes, it's illegal to handle salmon in suspicious circumstances.
Okay.
Have you ever done that, Sarah? Be honest.
I haven't.
This is on the record.
In suspicious circumstances. I have handled salmon, but not in suspicious circumstances.
Ooh, sounds guilty to me. I don't know.
Oh, well, very novel.
Next time we hang out, I'm going to constantly be just buying salmon for you and seeing what you do with it and filming you secretly.
Yes. Putting it in my baked potato.
Officer, that's suspicious. Why? I like it, my baked potato. Damn, I'll get her soon.
It's cold into warm though, so that is very suspect.
Ooh. Oh, are you assuming smoked salmon? Very suspicious.
Yes, even more suspicious. Dear me.
Yes, I know. I wonder if it's illegal to, give birth at home for too long. Seems like a public nuisance.
But also noise.
Well, yeah. I mean, is it illegal to have a
nuisance.
dog that sort of barks 24/7? I'd imagine at some point you'd put in a complaint, and at some point something would have to be done if it literally wouldn't stop barking, right?
No, you're supposed to report it to the RSPCA, and I don't think it's a noise abatement thing with the council. Aren't we well informed? But the RSPCA don't always come out for things like that.
Yeah.
And also they don't know where the dog is. You can hear it, 5 gardens away, and it could be anywhere.
Right.
So you'd have to know which house it came from before you started, recording the sound. But no, they're less and less likely to come out the council now on the noise abatement, and they're quite hard to get hold of.
Yeah, they're very hard to get hold of.
I believe, she said hastily, having not done so myself.
Well, luckily, where I live, there's the magic corner. And the magic corner, because, the council won't take, you've got a fridge or you've got a dishwasher or you've got a, whatever it is, a sofa. The council aren't going to take it away anymore. They're just, we're not interested. Deal with it yourself. Yeah. I don't have a car. So when my fridge went kaput, we were sort of living on a sort of backup, which was very small. And magically, on this corner, which is quite near my house, a fridge appeared. And I thought, hold on. And it fit, and it was it'd been put out. It wasn't like packaged and brand new waiting to be delivered. It was
a working fridge.
It was a working fridge that someone had decided to get rid of and just put it on the corner. So I took the fridge and put my fridge on the corner and then used that fridge. And then when I went back out later, my old fridge had gone.
Yes.
And this magic corner I've seen people come and get stuff. It's like it's like public land.
Yes, I know someone who got some beautiful Art Nouveau doors. Glass doors that had just been shoved at the end of his street, and he picked them up and put them in his house. Yeah,
we've got a couple of chairs. We've got 2 TVs. I kid you not, 2 TVs.
Blimey.
That both work. That were on the magic corner. A rug, I think. Definitely, I got a pair of shoes, workout shoes. Hold on, what else? There's been a lot of stuff there. Ooh,
you must tell me where this is when you bring me to your magic corner.
I'm afraid I can't give away that location. Don't be rude.
Location. Yes, what do I need? I know, I've put out a wish list and you can see if you can fulfill it.
I'm not sure if it works exactly the same as Santa, but I'll try it. I'll put a little wish list on the corner.
My secret corner list. How brilliant. Oh my goodness. What a strange world. What strange times we live in now. Everybody I've been messaging in the last 3 or 4 months, they've all said strange times.
Yeah. And I think we thought they were strange before. Like when Trump got elected and Brexit happened, we thought, these are some very weird times that we're living in.
Yes, it seems to have got. Has it got weirder, or is it just plateaued?
I don't think it. No. I don't think it has plateaued, and I don't think it's gonna get more normal. I think, like, without getting all serious, I honestly think the war in Ukraine is going to change the geopolitical landscape in massive ways, and I don't think we're gonna go back to normal. I don't think that era that we were in before is coming back. It's going to be different. I think things are going to be more expensive. I think there is going to be supply chain issues.
The carpet has been pulled out from under an awful lot of people, and it's not going to be replaced as it was. No, it's I don't know. It's not. I don't know if it's timely, but it was. There was an awful lot of complacency, and there is now an awful lot of insecurity.
Yeah. And these two things feel definitely linked.
And people lash out when they're insecure. They lash out. So we're living in more dangerous times, I think.
Definitely. But, all kinds of weird crime things are up. I was listening to this economist saying, well, basically, that quantitative easing, which is where they just print money, since 2008, they've just been doing that. They hit just not only here as well. This was in America as well. They just keep printing the money, and he's like, the debt is now 4 times higher than it's ever been, and at some point that has to be paid. And
Yes.
and we have been for over 15 years just putting our fingers in our ears and going la 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 la. And he was like, brace yourself, tighten your belt. I guess that's what all good economists say, though. So
Yes. Yes. Who to believe as well? Some people are more plausible than others.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, I get all my info from GB News, so that's who I believe, Sarah.
What's his name? Tom Bradby, ITV. Hardly partisan at all. He comments all the time by raising his eyebrows or lowering his voice. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant subtext that he puts in.
I've always thought that, like, in an alternate world, and maybe this is because I am an actor, but in an alternate world, if I were like a newsreader, like what's your man called?
Tom Bradby.
Tom Bradby. Let's say in an alternate reality, I'm Tom Bradby. You know when like those things come up in like TV shows or movies where they need a newscaster and they use an actual one, like from life, but they're acting, but they're reading the news, so it's not acting, but they are acting because the news they're reading is not real news because it's in the movie.
Yes.
I've always thought that would be, a great little side perk of the job.
Yes, absolutely. But it's like, like putting. I'm sure I've told you this one, but getting things past the sub-editor. Did I ever tell you there was one in Viz, which was from the Surrey Clarion or something, which I think they were all genuine, and it was purportedly about the theft of a pair of ferrets from this man in Surrey, and the headline was "Furry Snatch."
Oh no!
And they got it past the
They
sub-editor.
got it through.
Yes, they got it through. I love all that sort of thing. So that one, Viz comic. That is, for those who don't know, Viz comic used to run a thing about dodgy headlines, and some of them were just. There was one in the Stratford Herald, voted the worst newspaper in Britain for 3 consecutive years, still going, and it was the headline was, and it was sent to me from the Stratford Herald, a cutting: "Man battered outside fish and chip shop." And so I know that was from the Stratford Herald because I actually have the news. I don't know where I put that. Headline. I have it somewhere.
That's good. It's good. It's a bit like Coleman balls, isn't it?
Yes, I love that sort of. Yes, the local papers, the Cotswold Journal's another one. Just appalling local newspapers, and you go, that's news. Somebody's banging basket's been stolen. It's so parochial, but it's brilliant. And you can see all these people who want to be Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah.
Putting in the comments that they put in the piece. Oh, dreadful, dreadful.
That. I love that. Sneaking things through. You know what it makes me think of?
What?
I remember learning this in university about the Lord Chamberlain.
Oh yes.
Do you remember the office of the Lord Chamberlain?
Yes.
At one point, yes, yeah. Well, maybe explain for the listener who doesn't know what that is, and rather what it was.
Well, it was the Lord Chamberlain's office was I think there was a particular department set up specifically to root out immorality in the theatre, and so shows like Hair and Oh Calcutta and I think Joe Orton, I think he was as it were fingered by the Rozzers, and various other, John Osborne, I think.
Yep.
The Lord, they had to be sent the script to the office, and it was gone through, and anything they didn't like, they'd blue pencil.
Yep.
And they would take it out, and so the playwright either had to rewrite it or take it out, and so they'd find ways of getting around it.
Yeah. Exactly, and it was abolished relatively recently. Like it's quite interesting because you might think theatre censorship would, sounds like something Cromwell would do, and indeed did. But no, we had
the 60s.
We had it up to the 60s, absolutely. Because I remember reading one the feedback on the Pinter plays are just absolutely brilliant, because they're from the people review. We should explain, the people reviewing these plays were not theatrical. They weren't,
No.
novelists or writers. They were just civil servants.
Yes.
They were just people with a job. And so, Pinter writes The Birthday Party, and he sends it in, viewed of as one of the modern canon's most significant plays. Fascinating piece of theatre. And a civil servant just has to read it and decide if it gets put on or not. And
Yes.
the feedback is hilarious. Listen to this. An insane, pointless play. Mr. Pinter has jumbled all the tricks of Beckett and Ionesco with a dash from all the recently produced plays at the Royal Court Theatre, plus a fashionable flavouring of blasphemy. The result is still silly. The Emperor is wearing no clothes. And it's like, he's a playwright. There's a bit further down where, there's a bit of blue pencil, and it says, page 58, cut this line. It's like, excuse me. It's
they
like
have to justify it. They have to justify their jobs. It's like there's one of those made-up jobs, but it wasn't made. That's the horrific thing. It wasn't made up, but they were actually causing damage.
Yeah, people's lives were,
John Arden.
Yeah.
All those Royal Court people. I think they had. Well, I know they had blue pencils through their scripts to a greater or less extent. There was one, I think, who was almost the entire play. I can't remember whether it was Edward Bond's Saved or one of those.
I think Saved was banned. I think Saved was banned, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure.
I know they did it.
Yeah, I think they did it. Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think it was banned retrospectively because of the stoning of
the baby.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was something like Saved, and then almost the entire play came back with the blue pencil through it. So get round that one.
Yeah, right. Page 1 to 89, cut.
Cut. Yes, this line is not acceptable. Oh, dear me, dear me.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, here we go. The Lord Chamberlain's office slammed a ban on Edward Bond's second play, Saved. But where there was censorship, there was also loopholes. Oh, so what is the loophole? That's the little teaser.
I think you couldn't show the baby or something. They had to put I think they had to do something like the pram was facing the top of the pram was facing the hood of the pram was facing the audience.
How about this?
Not the baby.
This is how. Good theory, but it's not how they did it. No. So, the Royal Court, see the previous comments before, the Royal Court doesn't deserve the name, staunch defender of the notion that a play needs to be shown as it was written, temporarily turned itself into a club theatre to stage the play's premiere.
That's it. The club theatre, yes.
So that they skirt by the rules that way. So
that's right, because the Arts did that as well. They did late night performances as a club.
Right.
The Arts Theatre
Club.
So it
doesn't follow the same. Such a clever little change around.
Yeah, it's a bit like the cult showings of things like Rocky Horror Show. Late night.
Yeah.
Under the radar.
Yeah.
Word of mouth in those days, of course. But yeah.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I didn't realise. No, there was something at the subsequent stages. Staging something about the pram.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, out of just sort of theatrical necessity, you'd face it away, wouldn't you? Because otherwise, you have to show people this baby that's going to actually cry and bleed and stuff like that. And it's like no one can be bothered with that. Let's face it the other way, and we'll have these horrible youths. It's a brutal scene.
It's better. Yes, it's more visceral if you turn the pram away than if you show them rather nellily lobbing the odd brick. But if you don't show, it's what you don't show. It's like it's funny. Like it's like 'Tis Pity She's a Whore. The Jacobin, is it Jacobin drama? My God, I've never been in it. But there's a bit when he takes his sister's heart out and he holds it up. And that used to cause lots of fainting. And Titus Andronicus used to cause lots of fainting with all the blood and the gore and, all that stuff. Yeah. So although it is sometimes better not to show something, it is, when it is shown, those of a more sensitive. Oh yes, and Malcolm McDowell's eyes in Clockwork Orange.
Oh my
A
God.
lot of people threw up over that. I loved that scene. I thought it was
It's
absolutely
amazing.
brilliant.
Yeah. And actually, there's more censorship in film and TV than there is in theatre these days, isn't there? They literally do have to pass it through censors and stuff like that.
And then we get all the warnings at the beginning of programs saying some
the trigger
of this,
warnings.
like porridge. What was it? The trigger warnings saying these are lines that were said with the times they were made in mind. So porridge had one, and somebody else. I mean, things like mind your language is never ever going to be shown again.
Right, just because of the slurs.
Because of the slurs, yes, and because that was then. It is, but it is
interesting. I don't know how to.
Very reductive.
It's like so. Yeah, I agree. I think
because if you don't expose people to things,
No.
then how are they? If they when they are finally exposed to something really awful, they're going to completely overreact. Whereas if they've been sort of slightly desensitized, I'm going to be killed for this. I know.
No, but I mean, not from the scientific community. I've read some of the research on this. It's backed up. There's this amazing book called The Coddling of the American Mind by Jonathan Haidt, and it's all about how the more you hide someone away from something, which is like these safe spaces, even though it comes from a good place and the desire to protect and not expose them to pain and trigger and trauma, there is no evidence that makes them more resilient to it. So that, in fact, it's quite the opposite. So that if they then do encounter it in real life, it's actually a worse off situation for them.
Yes, it's much more trauma, much heavier trauma. How interesting! I haven't come across that book. Thank you for that. I shall look it up and go to Waterstones. Oh, another plug. No, go to Waterstones and see if I can find that, because there's a few of us who are rather dismayed with the way theatre is going.
Yeah.
And rewriting Shakespeare so it's relevant. I mean, what is all that about? The whole point about Shakespeare is that it's not relevant.
Yeah. No.
It is what it is.
Exactly.
That was then, and that's. I'm not saying you should do a completely faithful to the genre. The Elizabethan costumes. Right. By all means, change the costumes, but the whole point of as I understand it, of doing Shakespeare is that you honour the text.
Mm.
So to do this, to do this relevant stuff, and making them, a clever director can make it work, but there's so many who just put their stamp on it, and it's billed, and it turns people off even more because they're saying, no, they're being patronising to us. It's not for us.
Yeah. I don't know. But it is coming back, isn't it, the theatre, eh?
Yes.
That's one thing.
Yes, the theatre's coming back since we last spoke, very much so.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I'm going to go and see Bertie Carvel as Donald Trump at some point in the next few weeks.
Oh, great.
I'd go and see Jerusalem as well, which I missed the first time.
I am going in 5 days' time for opening night.
Oh my days, £75 to £150 to get a single ticket in the not very good areas.
I wouldn't know about that. It's my birthday. I'm being treated.
It is your birthday. Collect £10 from each player.
But get this, Sarah, I saw it when it opened with, the same cast on the West End. Again, on my birthday, however many years ago it was. What was
2009.
it? Yes, so there we go. So, it's set on the play is set on my birthday. I've seen it on my birthday. This year it's 3 days after my birthday. That it was on the same, and then Mark Rylance came out and he gave a speech, and I'm pretty sure it's the majority of the cast are exactly the same as well.
Yes, I think they are.
Excited.
I think they all leapt to come back because
absolutely, it's so
wasn't it going
good.
to come back last year?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But then obviously Pandy. But if you haven't seen it, you should. It's worth it.
I will. I think I might just. It's like The Inheritance. I didn't see that until it was almost finished, and then I didn't see part 2. But I'm so glad to have seen part 1. It was an extraordinary experience, and I would like to see Jerusalem.
You must, yeah.
It sounds right up my straw.
Oh, it really is. It's such a great play. It's so exciting to have that back and normal. I was telling you, I went to the Hamlet that McKellen was in, but that, last year. And
Windsor. Oh, God,
and it
did
wasn't.
you?
Yeah, but there was still like restrictions in the theatres and stuff, and people were distanced and masked, and it didn't have that feeling of a full house, which is there's no substitute for that.
No, it'll be packed to the gunnels, and they'll all be screaming. The audience, I would think.
I would think so.
From start to finish, everything he says will be cheered. I reckon. You'll have a much longer evening. Running time will have about half an hour on it. How lovely!
That
how
sounds
lucky!
Nice. Yeah.
Well, if anything happens to you, Robert, I'll have your ticket. Should you go down with COVID or something, or something else.
I've dodged it this far. Still can't get it.
Happily take your ticket.
You never got it either, did you? You never got the vid.
The vid?
The Rona.
Oh, no, I don't know. I'm not sure because
you're one of those people who thinks you might have had it. Look, listen, Sarah. Yes. We've all been that person with the story. I had a runny nose and I couldn't taste something. Nope, I'm not buying it. If you didn't test positive, you didn't have it. The pandemic's over. Now get on with your work.
Get on with my life. I know. But if I had it in February 2020, before the pandemic actually really, really set in,
does it count?
And they didn't have the lateral flow test. How would I know? Because it was pretty horrible.
Yeah.
But not enough to kill a girl, I'm glad to say.
Good.
Still alive.
Well, tell me, what have you got planned for this weekend?
I think I might go to the allotment and on Dame Teresa's instructions and plant big peas too. Yes, I've planted peas 1 and peas 2, and peas 1 are coming up great guns, and they're nearly flowering, and the broad beans are flowering. And I need to plant some carrots and some strange-shaped vegetables fairly soon.
My cat keeps digging up my flowers and taking a shit there. What can I do?
Have it humanely destroyed.
I think I'd rather torture it.
Okay. Lemon juice, apparently lion dung.
Lion dung?
Lion dung, which you can buy online.
Let me furiously Google that. Lemon juice, is that true? What? I know cats hate lemon.
Or is that slugs? Yes, they don't like, or maybe lemon peelings.
Yeah, I've heard this. The trouble is
when they've marked that as their when they've marked that spot as their crap stop, as it were, it's their service station crap stop, then I don't think you've got much chance.
But here's the thing.
Stopping them.
Now I agree with you, but here's the thing that annoys me. Now she's got a litter box and it's very nice, and I clean it regularly, and then by the side of my shed there's a nice little gravel thing that I installed, and I didn't realise until, quite frankly, it was too late, that had become the outside lavatory.
Yes.
So now I've sort of somewhat surrendered it to her,
Yes.
But in the understanding that other areas would be left alone. But this is a declaration of war.
Everybody wants to be a cat. Except the cat's the only cat who knows where it's at.
Well, we'll see if I put lemon and lime rinds out there. How
you have to post it on
confident
Facebook
she
so
is.
I can see. Yes, you have to either message me or post it on Facebook and show me the pelt. You could make a decent pair of gloves out of a cat skin.
Well, and Stevie's long haired as well, so
even better. How nice
cold.
And warm. You could wear the fur on the inside.
Yeah.
Turn your gloves inside out.
Ooh, very nice. Luxurious.
I would say a muff, but it's not enough for
But we mustn't. Oh, no.
There's not enough for a muff.
I wanted to join, what was the thing before? A merkin. That's the word I was trying to search for before.
The merkin, yes. And there were special shops for them in the 18th and 17th century, I think. Yes, I believe so. Or there was a merkin man, like the muffin man.
Do you know the merkin man, the merkin man, the merkin
Yes.
man? Are merkins
Try to
still...
explaining that. I believe so. I don't know. I'll have to check that one out on Mrs. Google. I daren't put it up on Facebook because I've already had a trigger warning from Facebook because I was putting things up about... I put up something about someone being in public school and I said he must have been a fag.
Oh.
Facebook said, "This is not a word we're used to, so you take this as your warning."
Oh,
I got a strike, yeah, saying, and so I didn't dare write it because people were saying, "What? Why were you warned?" And I thought I can't write it again because then I really will be sent off.
Yeah. The only time I've got a content warning on Facebook is when I posted a picture that someone had taken late at night, and it was a couple having sex in a car park. You know, trousers sort of hastily pulled down. It'd clearly been a spur of the moment decision. And then I wouldn't normally post it. You couldn't see their faces, but in the background there were a pair of dogs doing the same.
Oh no!
The couple were completely unaware of either the dogs or the camera, but the dogs were looking straight at the camera.
And that got you shut down?
Yep, got me a little strike for that. I thought, come on. What's wrong with that? Everyone's having fun.
Yes, quite. You don't have to look at it. Well, I suppose you do, and then it's seared on your retina forever.
It is one of those. I'll send you that as well.
Oh, do. Yes, I need to get out of my sheltered life. I need to exit my sheltered life very swiftly, and get with the what's it they say? Get down with the kids.
Get down with the kids. Yeah. Well, you're coming to the wrong man, because it's my birthday in 2 days' time, and I am officially 58 years old, so no longer a kid.
Yeah. Right.
That's the boundary there. When you become 58.
I've been learning Polari as well, by the way.
What's that? What, Polari?
The gay slang that they used in the 60s as code.
Oh.
Yes, because when you were talking about Facebook, it's known as eek glossy.
Eek glossy?
Eek glossy.
Why?
Eek is face, is Polari for face, and or ECAF as well, which is face backwards, and glossy is the Polari word for book.
Wow.
So
they had that many words. I thought
yes.
it was...
Oh no, it's a massive. There's a lot of Italian sounding words. So they have due for two, and una for one.
Well, hold on, wait, because I have a question, and also for people who are listening who don't know what Polari is. But so my understanding, which sounds now that it was wrong, was that Polari was a way of communicating by homosexuals when that was illegal,
yes.
such that they wouldn't get caught, but that they could talk about sort of gay stuff, basically. Is that wrong?
Yes.
Because I can see...
No, that is correct.
Well, why do you need book then?
Well, there are various dictionaries. I can't remember. There's somebody called Paul. Who's got a dictionary. And if you listen to Julian and Sandy on Round the Horn, the radio program from the 1960s, Julian and Sandy speak fluent Polari. Kenneth Williams and Hugh Paddock.
What? And it's a full language. I thought it was just a system of slang.
No, it's a full. You can change every single word in the lexicon to a Polari word.
Whoa!
But there's slightly differing takes on some of the words. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Let's look up some. Here we go.
Some Polari.
Polari itself. It's kind of various sources, including English, often backward slang or rhyming slang, Italian, circus slang, canal speak, Yiddish, gypsy languages.
Yep, Yiddish. Yep.
So here are some of them. Well, I'll try and not do the rude ones, but basket, I think you can imagine.
A basket, we know what a basket is. Yes. A gentleman's basket, yes.
But bats are shoes.
Bats are shoes, yeah.
Bona is good, and also something else. This is where butch comes from, and camp. So these are things that have entered, wider society.
And the police are known as Lily Law.
It says here, charpering Omi as well. Police. A charpering Omi. Charper is to search. So I guess Omi might be like man or something.
Man, Omi. And Omi Polonies are homosexuals. So you have the Omis, which are the straights, and the Omi Polonies.
Can you guess what chicken means?
Chicken is a young queen.
Oh, you've got
a young boy. A pretty happy, attractive young boy.
How much Polari do you speak?
Not very much in sentences. But I do know quite a lot of. I've got quite an extensive vocabulary.
Wow, and this is where NAF comes from.
NAF, yes.
That's really interesting. I don't think people are aware of that.
Yes,
Scarpa.
It's still. I did Scarpa. I did speak to a 96-year-old actor friend, and I told him I was learning Polari, and he said that's very old-fashioned.
Well,
So
it says
because
here
he said, "Oh, we did it, in the 1950s and 60s." Yeah,
60s,
very
yeah.
much. Yes.
It's been and then it kind of died out. I guess necessity sort of being the mother of invention. If it's just sort of no longer necessary, then people don't do it. But it's quite interesting.
Yes.
All the words that actually we use every day, like
Yes.
mince,
Mince,
or
yes.
slap for makeup.
Slap for makeup, yes.
These are just words that we use, and I don't think people are aware that it comes from this origin. That's really interesting.
Yes, it's a good one, and the most unexpected people understand.
Well.
I was working with someone last year, and she said, "Oh, my mother was fluent in Polari," which makes absolute sense. But it was extraordinary because she said that nobody knew what her mother was talking about.
What
So,
does it sound like when it's spoken?
It's quite elongated and quite snippy at the same time. If you listen to Julian and Sandy on Round the Horn, but it is yes, that's one for your bottom drawer.
Wow. I shall put it in there straight
I'm
away.
very because it's quite hard to remember. It is like learning another language.
Yeah. I thought
You
it was
just have
just a
to
series of phrases, but it's actually, yeah, so that's really fascinating. Okay, I've learned.
Yes. So it's in between. So words like and stuff, and the, but most of it you can just, you can actually add in the other words.
That's so cool. How far have you got in learning?
Not very far at all, but as I say, I know a lot of. It's a bit like with my Dutch. I know a lot of words, but I don't know necessarily how to use them in the construct of a sentence.
That's always the problem with me, is the grammar. It's always the problem.
The yes.
I remember the vocab, but the grammar.
The grammar, yes, especially, and that's why I've never been able to learn German, because I could never work out the neuter.
No, why do words have to have that? It's
yes. It's Spanish and Romanian and French are fine, but Albanian was my the bridge too far. I'm afraid I couldn't make an Albanian friend understand what I was saying, so I think I kind of gave up at that point. No communication there. Just let's just talk English. You don't understand the word I'm saying. But the Polari is quite, because it is a bit of a code. So you can tell the cut of some people's jib.
I like codes. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yes. So good luck with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
My dear, have you got enough? Have you had enough of Sarah Crowden now?
Oh no, of course not. But I can go anytime until 4:30. But if you must dash, then you may dash.
No, I mustn't dash at all. Let's talk about something else.
Okay. What else should we talk about?
What should we talk about? The theatre's back. Television is back. Netflix seems to be doing quite a lot. Movies, there haven't been nearly as many castings for films. That's one thing I have noticed this year. I mean, I know it's only April, but things that were going on, it's quite a different thing. Not as I don't know.
Did you see Did you see Johnny Depp? Speaking of movies, did you see what he said in
a bit? What a mess that all is, dear.
He said that she took a crap on his side of the bed while he was away.
And he said it's the dog, and then she said it was the dog.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd change your story like that.
Well, apparently there's video evidence, and if there is, I'm telling you now, I could tell the difference.
Yes, quite. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's very different.
I mean, if that's true, that is, I don't know if it's true or not, but that's pretty severe. That and all of the scandal coming out of that it's pretty wild.
And it's obviously hurt him a great deal, because you see how he looks now. He's put on so much weight and he looks so unhappy. And you think you just remember Jack Sparrow, which was just so joyous. I think all the joy seems to have gone out of him. I don't really know who she is.
Yeah, no, she's.
That sounds like somebody. They said to me, "Oh, an actress. What one have you seen you in?" And I said, "Oh, I've done this thing for Channel 4, and I've got this. I've got a commercial running on ITV." oh, we don't watch ITV. So I feel like that then, saying I don't know who Amber Heard is. I've never heard of her.
Ah, pun not intended, but still
No,
works.
still works, but I don't think I've seen any of her work. Whereas with him,
Well, yeah,
you know,
international movie star of many years.
international movie star of many years, and a great fan of England.
Yeah, and when he does his job well, he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
I think he started to become a little bit too much himself, Jack Sparrow, right? Like,
Yes.
started to believe
he was. Later ones, no.
Jack
yes, he started
Sparrow.
to believe he was Jack Sparrow, I think, yes.
Yeah, it's probably not the most healthy relationship to have with that character. To be a swashbuckling pirate all your life, in real life, in the 21st century.
Yes, and you also think that quite a lot of it would have been done on green screen, and he's still a bit too much like Jack Sparrow. Not that, you have to change your performance, but it's just like, oh my goodness.
Oh, I've not done much green screen work. I've done a bit, but I was watching this clip on something the other day, and it was an extended one, and it was. Have you seen these where it's a side by side, where you see the green screen filmed version, and then you see the final product? It was one of those. But it was it was far longer than they usually are. They're usually sort of like 5 seconds, and Tom Holland's being Spider-Man, but there's actually just cars, and it's none of that. But this was a whole scene, and it was so weird to watch. It was like a 4-minute scene.
Wow.
But a scene where not really much happens. So this character walks down the stairs, takes this, imagine future sci-fi scape, right? And they walk out of this building, and they take this crazy elevator down many steps and levels rather, and they go out and they go to this futuristic vendor who they trade in something for something. And they go to this weird machine that gives them a new thing, and then they look out across the city, and it's like these huge, gigantuan screens and planes of the future and things zipping and zapping here and there. And she goes back to the lift and back up and then into wherever she's came out of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the final thing, and it's, there's just tons of special effects. But really, what she does is, it's like, okay, walk down step, stay there for seconds, look at green. Walk up step, turn right, look at green. Pick thing out, turn back, look at green. At one point she sits on this bench, and in the finished version she's watching this incredible thing, and she's just looking at green. It must be so weird. And then imagine working with a director who's one of those who's like, again.
Yes.
It must be bizarre.
There's an art. There's like a bit like the self tapes and the Zoom. You've got to embrace the tech, I suppose. I mean, I've done very much green screen, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating, but it is hard working in a vacuum.
It is working in a vacuum, isn't it? Yeah. And she didn't even have anyone to bounce off of. At least if you've got another human to interact with, it gives you something. She was just it's just wallpaper.
Yes. How I do. Yes. Oh, sci-fi. Oh, how interesting. Is that a new film that's coming out?
I don't know, actually. I don't even know what it was. It was. It said what it was, but I didn't notice it. I don't think it was a film. I think it was just one of those Disney Plus things. A franchise thing where they've got all the money in the world, and if you're interested in this subculture, like, it's the most exciting thing ever. But if you're not, you don't care, kind of thing.
It's funny though that's it was ever thus. These things that are suddenly terribly fashionable, and everybody watches them and everyone talks about them. There's also another thing. I do like Facebook, but it was about somebody posted, I have never watched an episode of the Kardashians, and loads of people waded in and said neither have I. So I'm thinking, who's their demographic? They've been hugely successful, but they're kind of losing the product now, and people are losing interest, and they're doing increasingly deranged things to try and keep their fans. It's like all these influencers, they're not, and then they say they're actors. They're not, because they can't sustain it. It's like the people who say they can do 8 shows a week and then they can't.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's more
celebrity
of a
casting.
all the drama schools are closing down anyway, and young kids
schools,
are only interested in TikTok anyway. So that's going to be a fast forward 20 years. That's going to be a well-trodden route, and it's going to be
Yes.
strange. I think the Kardashians are like doing a new show. Like
Yes,
another,
they are.
that's all they can do, right? It's like we'll rename it, but it's just us being absolutely batshit insane, and it is an interesting.
It's like Madonna and her reinventions.
Yeah.
You just think
Yeah.
at some point you absolutely have to stop.
But she's still selling out these big shows, and like you said about the Kardashians. It's like I don't know who's going, but
Yes, it must be a smaller and smaller pot.
you would think so. I think the Kardashians just got like a bigger deal. I think it's going to be on
Yes.
Disney or Hulu or one of those, and it's going to be it's always like this one is like more real.
Yes.
Like, no, it's not, and also they're all complete bollocks.
Isn't it ironic that that Prince Harry and Meghan, as Dame Teresa calls her, are doing something on Netflix, which is actually a kind of drama channel?
And what are they doing? I don't understand. What have they got?
They're being filmed. They were being filmed on Netflix for the Invictus Games as
Right.
part of the deal, and I think Netflix wants them ultimately to be on the balcony at the Platinum Jubilee.
Ah, right.
Which would be a great coup for them,
It
because
would
then, of
be.
course, they could get all the lip readers in.
Well, I mean, they're gonna have to mend some bridges for that to happen, I reckon.
Yes, I think there's quite a lot of people who are going to block that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because they haven't. Yeah, I remember the news. Like they signed this big deal with. But like you've not really seen anything. I haven't seen the Invictus stuff. I mean, are they going to do a reality TV show? Has a royal ever done a reality TV show?
Well, it's a sort of. I think it's a filming of their life, which is weird, as they want to be private.
Yeah, right. But then again,
I think, but it makes
want to be
me-
private and then fly to and live in LA and go
yes.
on Oprah. It's not really being private, is it?
No, and that's the other thing with Netflix, which is known for its, fictional series. It's kind of going to be a fictional series by any other name, although it'll be touted as a documentary.
Right. Yeah. Oh, how weird to think that's going to happen.
Yes, they've signed. Well, they've signed for thousands and thousands, so they're going to have to deliver in some way, shape, or form. But
Yeah.
what that would be is
It's I don't know. I mean, it's not like
unknown.
yeah. It's like the Obamas signed this deal with Spotify, which is worth millions and millions of dollars. And I remember one of the things they came out with is okay, get this, it's Barack
Yes.
and it's Bruce Springsteen, and hey, we're just two guys shooting the shit. And it's called American Dreams, I think, or American Rebels, one incredibly cliched thing. And it's just, what is that? What is that product? What is that? What's that for? Who's watching that?
Who is it for? Yes, exactly.
Who
Where
is the target
who's your
market?
audience?
Yes. What is that? But I tell you what it is millions of dollars. But why is that? Tell me, explain market forces to me.
Yes, quite. I mean, that's why I have a sneaking regard for. I always liked his work, Nicolas Cage,
Yeah.
who's done this, the unbearable weight of my massive talent, or something. The
Something
title
like
of
that.
film, and I think,
Yeah.
don't hold back, Nicholas. No, I just think sending yourself up is just. It's like
he's good at that.
What's that wonderful film with the Steve Martin? Is it called Bowfinger?
Yeah, I remember that.
Funny I mean, I know it was a spoof, but Nicolas Cage sounds like he's in the fine tradition of same.
Yeah, it's tough to know with Nicolas Cage. Have you seen any of the have you seen like The Omen or the one where he's a vampire? Have you?
No, last one I saw with him was Air Force 10 or whatever it's called, or Face Off.
Oh, Face. Oh, wow, that's a long time ago. I've got to send you a link. You've got to see the one where he's a vampire. There's this one scene where he's running through the street shouting, "I'm a vampire," that will have you cackling in hysterics. There's one where he goes through the alphabet. Oh, I've got to send you this. It's so bizarre, and it's just I don't know if he's in on the joke. Sometimes he's one of those actors.
Yes.
Where
Yes,
you're never quite
exactly.
sure.
Which makes me laugh even more.
Yeah.
Shameless. No, I love all that sort of thing. Subverting the genre. I love that Bowfinger. It was just insane. It should be a much bigger film than it is. And there was another slightly similar one to that, and I can't remember what it was called. But Channing Tatum in Hail Caesar.
Oh right, I love that film.
Just or Chaiting Tannum, as I called him. I didn't know. I rang. I rang my. I must have told you this when I was doing a tiny bit, which has got a lot of comments on. People keep posting it and saying, "We saw you. Don't blink again." In Jupiter Ascending, the Wachowski film.
Oh wow!
And I said to my daughter, I was on and off it for about a month, just doing, prosthetics, endless costume fittings, dialect coaching, and then finally did the scene, and which was great fun. But I said to my daughter, there's this guy in this film. He's an American movie star, I believe, called Chaiting Tannum. She said, "Mother, she immediately said, I want you to and in marriage and give him my phone number." Neither of which I did. I didn't know who he was. I'm hopeless.
Yeah,
I only know about Emma Stone because of that dancing film she did.
Which one's that?
Something about LA.
Oh God, I didn't like that. The one that won the award, but they got the names wrong. And
they got Warren Beatty got the names wrong. Yes.
Yeah. What was that called? Oh my God.
Something in LA something? No. LA Nights? No.
Or Story of 50. It's not 50. What is it?
What on earth is it called?
Oh
Emma
my
Stone.
God. I'm going to have to look this up. Hold on. Dancing movie? It's about dancing, isn't it? I can't. I don't like. La La Land.
La La Land.
There we go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's not my bag. No. Speaking of, though, actors, did you see the thing about Bruce Willis?
Yes.
Oh.
That was really sad, and I wish they hadn't sort of jumped on him, and paparazzi were all over trying to get photographs of him fucking it up.
Absolutely. Just awful, isn't it?
Come on.
How can you do that as a job? It's so... I've never understood how you could, morally square that away, being a paparazzo.
Yes, and some of them are quite nice. Some of them. Then they've got the ones who've been going for years and years now have a sheen of respectability. I think I've got one on Facebook who's a friend, but I sort of knew him anyway from stuff I used to do in the 90s, or the late 90s, early 2000s.
But he's not one of the ambulance chasers, as they call them.
Not so much, no. And there was somebody else who's got another actor in the UK who's got the same thing as Bruce Willis. I can't remember who it is. It's terribly sad as well.
It's
tragic.
I think the thing's called aphasia. It prevents memory recall, and it affects speech and ability to both make it and comprehend it.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was being fed lines and stuff by ear, and he would have handlers, and they'd have to cut down his scenes, and the producers would be like, I don't think we can work with Bruce again. It's it's not for us, it's for him, kind of thing. It's really sad. But he was also doing so many movies a year. It was 20 a year kind of thing, just cranking them out.
Yeah, no downtime, and you just think, well, maybe
it's probably...
he just didn't let himself up, and didn't he do his own stunts as well sometimes?
I think by the end, not so much, but that was something that he was sort of known for. And one of the theories was, and obviously they don't know, but in one of the movies where he was doing his own stunts, there was a lawsuit about actually. I can't remember what it was, but a big thing sort of hit him in the head and sort of sparked. And apparently, aphasia can be linked to traumatic brain injury. So it's it could, doing their own stunts could get you in a lot of trouble.
Hello, Tom Cruise. Yes.
Yeah, he's still doing them.
Yes, he's still doing them.
Insane.
The last one was a broken leg, I think. And Daniel Craig broke his leg doing one of the Bond movies. I can't remember which one.
Did he?
I'm so sad that he's finished. Oh, he was.
I still haven't seen that last one.
Oh, it's extraordinary. I mean, no spoilers, but you kind of know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The title's a bit of a giveaway, but it is still.
I'm Dead, the new Bond movie.
Yes. No Time to Die. Oh. You're dying, Mr. Bond. No, it's good. It's very long. It's about half an hour too long.
I think that's kind of what's put me off. I'll get to it. But
yes.
It seems like a big commitment. That,
Yeah.
Why must they ask this of me? It's the same as Dune. Dune.
Oh, Dune. Oh dear, I snored. I mean, I sat through that. Yes, I sat through that, and it got better, but Oh God, that's a real fan-based film, really. It really is for fans of the sci-fi, and I'm not a great fan of sci-fi, although I loved Jupiter Ascending with the Office bias. But that's about the only film I could sit through.
Well, now hold on. What about, speaking of the Wachowskis, The Matrix? Although I haven't seen the new one.
Oh, The Matrix is rather groovy, yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the new one, but no, the Dune was just. Oh God, the first, and even with my beloved Aquaman, Jason Momoa, playing a very good character, but he gets killed about an hour in. Spoiler alert again. So once I'd lost Aquaman, I went to sleep for a bit
and dreamt of him. Well, you know he's single now, so you know.
No, he's not. They're working on it. No, he's not. I had that single ticket booked to LA. As soon as the announcement, the people who know about my passion for Aquaman all stuck it on Facebook, and they were like, "Bye, Sarah, nice knowing you."
No, and, your window. So you didn't act quick enough.
Quick enough, no. And now I read to my horror that he's working on it with her.
No, what's there to work on?
He's the stepfather of Zoe Kravitz, which I think is very, very, very cool.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz is awesome. Although she's in The Batman, which again I haven't seen.
I haven't seen that.
Which is also probably half an hour too long. And apparently I've only got an attention span of 2 hours. But
they did say something about, they were talking about, the powers that be were talking about reintroducing an interval to movies.
That sounds good.
I think it's gone nowhere. Because I remember going to see Les Mis, 3 out of 10, and Hugh Jackman was warbling. No, it was definitely Hugh Jackman, and the song was pitched too high for him. And I said to the lady, I took a friend, and I said to her, I've got to go to the loo. Again, far too long. And I went off, and when I came back, I took my time, came back, he was still warbling. I was just like, I haven't missed anything then at all.
That's the new interval. Just, sort of take the temperature of what's going on in the movie and be like, this bollocks might carry on for a while. I'm going to go to the loo.
Yes, and then when it just went on and on and on. And I don't particularly like, apart from Love Poem, deathbed songs.
But I think the interval in some ways is preferable to what we've got now, which is like, it's especially more like at the sort of swankier cinemas, movie houses, theatres, picture houses.
Yes.
You can get like a fucking sit-down meal and a bottle of wine.
And a tray.
And a tray and everything. I think it's far more distracting having all that going on while you're trying to watch the movie. Someone's carving into their roast.
Well, there you go. Theatre. I was in Soho yesterday and looking at my phone, and suddenly this thing popped up saying, Prince Edward Theatre, put your order in for food now. And I was like, what? And of course, that's what they do now in the theatre. You can have the 3-course meal in the theatre as well.
Really?
Which I think slightly kind of negates the fact that it's live. Yeah. So if you want to do that, stream it at home.
Yes, if you wouldn't
come into the theatre where you need to see the dialogue. You can miss stuff on the television watching a film and rewind it, but you can't rewind it in the theatre, and you'll also piss off quite a large amount of audience.
Absolutely.
I couldn't believe it. Just saying, oh no, please put your order now.
And they were offering proper meals.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What would you like? Have your glass. That's why it doesn't work, because people come in to see shows, especially the sort of jukebox musicals, already drunk, and then they proceed to drink their way through, and then people have paid a lot of money. Yeah. And I wish you luck with Mark Rylance, because I'm sure that will be the case.
I don't want people to Jerusalem. Oh my God, it's cramped enough in there. Without putting a plate of chips on. I mean, I say this one time, my mum has this story. That's how she was kicked out of a cinema. She smuggled in fish and chips, and I, quite frankly, didn't think the plan through, because immediately everyone was like, "Wow, it really smells of fish and chips in here." She was kicked out.
Oh, she was. Oh gosh, because I'm always petrified of going to a cinema with even a bottle of water. I think they might do it.
Really?
Nah. But their drinks and their popcorn are so huge. It takes hours, and the first hour of the film, it's people chomping and slurping.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
which is very annoying. But
it is
no,
annoying
what
unless
happens
you've
is-
got popcorn, and then you can join in on the annoying everyone else who doesn't have popcorn.
But then you can't hear the dialogue.
No, forget the dialogue. You're not there for dialogue. You're there for popcorn.
That's very true. Yeah, and it is delicious. It is. And also Madonna says if you eat popcorn for 3 days, you can drop about 5 pounds.
Just popcorn? Like that's the diet, the popcorn diet.
The popcorn diet. Yes, apparently, if you just eat popcorn and drink water for 3 days, not 5 days, no, 2 to 3 days,
You'll be
you
miserable
can drop a
but
lot
thin.
of weight. Miserable but thin, exactly. And what is it? Water retention anyway. And of course, popcorn expands and you feel full. So.
Hold on a second. This isn't a bad idea. I've heard of the potato diet, which is that, but potatoes. But I've not.
Ooh.
Yeah, you just eat potatoes, but you're not allowed anything else.
But it's the starch. The starch content is surely rather fattening.
Yes. No. Well, you'd think so, but the interesting thing is that people who've taken it. So the famous example is Penn Jillette. You know, the magician. He used to be very, very massive, and now he's rather slender. And he lost it all by the potato diet. And he said, actually, if you ate like a full serving of potato, then it would be, because it's so high in carbs, you would keep on the weight. But if you're strict with yourself and you literally are only eating the potatoes, no butter, salt, spices, herbs, anything like that, you very quickly realise that potato by itself is not that nice. And so you just don't eat much. But it fills you up. But you never sort of gorge. And so over time, you do actually just lose the weight only eating the potatoes.
Just eating potato. No, I'd rather do the popcorn if I was going to do any of those.
But are you allowed the salt, the butter, the sugar, any of those kind of special things?
Think so. No, I don't know. But then where would you? Yes, because they all have some kind of sugar or salt contamination. So how would you work
pop your own,
on
I
that?
guess. You just have to pop your own.
Oh, that's a frightful bore. And then of course there's the oil in it.
Yeah.
If you're popping your own, there's much more oil.
Right, exactly. How do they do it in the big machines? What is that an oven? Is it hot in the machine?
I don't know.
Hold on.
What happened? Hang on a moment. Just a minute. Just letting the cat out.
Well, we've covered the big topics today, haven't we?
We certainly have. Yes, we've put the world to rights. We're going to run the country. I'm going to run for Parliament. No, I'm too nice. Although that's debatable in some circles.
Very funny. No. But also, yes. This has been such a good chat.
It has been an absolute joy, and I hope you can edit it down nicely.
I'll snip out that bit where you said I was a horrible rotter. I thought that was very rude.
When?
The rest, got ya. The rest shall say no. Yeah, no. It will be slimline. Don't you worry. I'll try and get it out for tomorrow as well for you to so we plug your show, and get the watches up.
Oh, brilliant! Yes.
We'll see.
Fantastic.
We'll see.
Thank you, Doctor.
That's the plan. So catch Sister Boniface Mysteries on Drama or BritBox, depending on how you like to enjoy your.
Yes.
Anything else, my love,
9
my
o'clock.
darling? 9 p.m. There we go.
9 p.m. Be there or be square. That's if you're watching it like an old person.
Appointment viewing,
You know,
I believe
weekly.
they call it.
Yes, appointment viewing. That's right. It makes a change from the doctor or the consultant, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Appointment viewing. Yes. Your appointment viewing. Yes. No, I was going to be very, very rude there. But I won't.
I shall have you referred to the Lord Chamberlain if you end our episode that way.
Immediately. I'll stand by with a blue pencil. It'll probably be a blue biro in my case. Just to make sure that it's absolutely excised. Well, good luck with your meniscus.
Thank you very much. Very important. I shall look after it. It will be thinking of you.
Oh, excellent. Keep me posted.
Have fun at the allotment, and I'll let you know how Esme gets on.
Oh, yes, please do. I long to meet her. As do you. All right, dearest. Do I say goodbye? What do I do now? She said in a Dame Teresa sort of a way.
Why don't you give us
You
a
just
poem?
hang up. You just hang up as I'm talking. Bip. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you've enjoyed it, please give us 5 stars and consider becoming a subscriber and maybe even supporting us on Patreon. Really, really, really helps me continue making this show. If you haven't enjoyed it, then you can fuck off. Many, many thanks to Nils Hennis Steer for the amazing music and to Dave Fox for the cool artwork. Please keep coming back every week for more Bliss of the Abyss.
Message 1.